Welcome back to the 30-day video challenge. Today I'm going to talk about my career and the difficulty of working in technology as you get older. When I was 11 years old, I really got interested in computers. This was in the very early 80s. I think it was like 1980 when I was 11 years old. And I got really interested in computers, but nobody actually had one at home. I would go to the library and read books about computers and programming, and I would actually write computer programs or video games, or not video games, but computer games out longhand in a tablet, spiral bound notebook, and I would run them in my head, just work on them and figure out how they worked and that sort of thing. And it was a lot of fun. It was how I learned to program. I was self-taught, and without a computer, I just ran everything in my head. I was good at, well, I thought I was good at it anyway, and I really enjoyed doing it. I liked the puzzle of the whole thing. A few years later, my grandfather got a VIC-20 home computer, which is, I still love that machine. We went over to visit him, and I sat down and just wrote a program, and it ran, and it ran stoplights. It ran green, red, yellow stoplights on the screen, and he was amazed that I could just simply sit down and do that. So he gave me the computer, and from that point forward, I just started writing video games and things for the neighbor kids, because we grew up in a poor neighborhood without any Atari. So I would write video games so that all the neighbor kids would come over and play with me, and I thought that was a lot of fun. But that was my introduction to programming, and I've been doing it regularly ever since then. So more than 40 years. And I've been employed at it. Well, I wrote my first program for pay when I was 13, inventory management software. But I've been doing it as a career now for, well, when did I start? When I was 20, 19, 20, 21. I was 21 years old when I actually got employed full-time at it. So it's been more than 30 years that I've been employed full-time, and more than 40 years that I've been doing it professionally. That is a long time in this industry. I mean, it's a great industry, and it's the best job. It's artistic, it's fulfilling, it's technical, it's puzzling, it's everything that's great about doing something complicated. And it's a challenge. But in those 40 years, it has changed immensely, and it's changing even faster now than it ever has. This industry is like, with computers running as fast as they are, and so many people doing it, and so many ideas being freely spread around the internet. The internet didn't exist it did exist. It wasn't available to normal people, but when I was first in it. But it has just grown so rapidly, and it's growing so much more rapidly now than it ever has. So it's difficult to keep up, especially as you get older. You just, like, my head is full of information, but it's difficult to take on new concepts as fast as younger people take on new concepts. And I've read that people have difficulty with that, like, oh, I can't work and compete against these young people, so now I don't have a job anymore. And you're looking at it wrong. I've been doing this a long time. That experience is worth something. I mentor the young people I work with. I'm not just a developer anymore. Now I have a team that I work with, and they're all over the world. I've got people in the Philippines, there's people in New York, there's people here in San Diego. It's a big team of people that I work with, and I mentor them and give assignments and design things and help them with problems, help them to reason through things that they haven't had the experience yet to understand. And I think that is the way that every job evolves over time. Any job that you stick with for a long, long time should evolve to that role. Like, you shouldn't still be doing the same job you were doing 40 years ago. You should have evolved into a leadership role, or not necessarily a leadership role. Some people just don't dig that, but at least a role where you're a mentor and your experience is more valuable than your craftsmanship. And so anyway, that's my take on the whole thing. That's where I say, as you get older, use that experience that you gain over the course of many years, so that if you're in a field that becomes harder and harder to compete, you don't have to compete. Your experience speaks for itself, and you do it from a different angle. So, for whatever that's worth, that's my 2 cents on the whole thing. So, thanks for listening to my rambling. I hope you're enjoying the 30-day video challenge. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much.